And we're back with ckscast number 15. That's that and that. Yeah, here we are. I did the Daddy's Gone Wild preview show. I was on stage for an hour and 10 minutes at the Rivington Hotel. And I'm now, I guess, a real comedian. I have my hour done. I forgot to record it. Because I'm an idiot. Normally I record an audio. There was some video made, but, honestly, I don't care. It's a preview show. To me, the challenge was to see whether I could do it and be funny for an hour. And I don't like to, it's this quality of false humility that you have when you grow up in England. I don't like to brag about it, but it actually went really well. I have trouble admitting that I have that feeling, but I feel proud of myself for once in my life. But it's a ton of work. I worked hard for that thing. I was practicing, because one of the things is that when you get up on stage, you don't want to be thinking about what you want to say. You want to be in the state of flow of your performance. So I practiced the shit out of it. It was all material that I've done before and tested, but putting it together into an hour with a narrative was more of a challenge, but I think it went well. People were giving me very good feedback. Maybe I was playing a little bit to the home team. A lot of people that came to it know me. But yeah, now I got to think about when and if I do it again. I think the if is no problem. I will do it again. The when is the tricky part. Because afterwards, I felt exhausted. Like all the kind of the focus and the effort that went into making that show happen. Also a new venue. It looked fantastic. By the way, and a big thanks to the Hotel Rivington, although they're probably not going to watch this. But, it was just like once the come down at 50, like my hips were hurting, my legs were hurting, like all kinds of aches and pains just came up. And I think I got to figure out what that is, because I think it's something to do about the adrenaline you have during comedy that just kind of, once it's gone, there's some, level of toxicity it builds up in your body. There's probably a podcast that will tell me some shit about that. But the problem with podcasts, actually, I have a rant today. Everything is shit because people are shit. Let's face it, because everybody's an idiot. And, there's all these podcasts now on things saying, get Athletic Greens 1, because, like something green that comes in a plastic bottle or whatever that is that's been dried is definitely way more healthy than this. A carrot. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. Now we got chewing sounds on the podcast turned into like a mukbang video. I'm watching a man eat a carrot. Actually, it's not entirely true. I mean, let's talk about food for a second. I just want to randomly rant about stuff today. The food industry is evil, let's face it. Carrots, right? You think is a healthy thing. The problem with carrots is the ones you get in the supermarkets, you notice they're all wonderfully clean. You think, oh, I washed it, right? No. They grew them in sand. Most carrot supermarkets, they grow in sand because for the process of getting them to the supermarket, they need to spend less money on water to clean up the carrot to get it to the supermarket. So they actually now grow them in sand. Problem with doing that is there's very little nutrition in sand for the carrot. So you're just basically growing. And, it's funny because you can taste it. I remember carrots back when I was a kid, you buy them at the supermarket, they'd be dirty still because they couldn't fully wash off all the earth. But it tasted like a carrot. This, doesn't really taste of anything. It's not really tasting a carrot. This comes from Co-op. So it's in sort of middle-class supermarket. And this is a problem. Everything is shit. One thing, a long time ago, I was talking to someone, so it must be true. Apparently how milk came into being. So milk, there's various probably documentaries that find this, but fundamentally, if you look at how milk became such a big part of our diet, apparently this happened in the 50s, began most of all in America. because you had all these cows that they were killing. But the byproduct, what are we going to do with all this milk? We just flush it. Oh, wait, no, let's convince people that milk is really good for you. Now, some milk may be not bad. The problem is the volume of milk. Milk is basically juice to make little cows grow into big cows really fast. And then the milk and the food industry, the milk lobby, the milk industry was like, wait, people are a little bit like cows, aren't we? Like if we get them to buy our shit, we can make a shit ton of money. And that's how, like the product manager, now I'm a product manager myself by day. That's how you think about this stuff. You analyze the numbers, you figure out how you can exploit the market. It uses all the terms. Of colonial imperialism. And, another thing that I heard about that is that once China started opening up its doors to the West, the milk industry went in there and it's like, there's a bit of a problem here is these Chinese people do lack the genes to digest milk. But then someone was like, we've done experiments on human beings and discovered that, when you give them a lot of milk and then they have children, the children tend to have the enzymes that allows them to digest milk. So what they're actually doing is they're forcing like millions of people in China to go through all kinds of digestive disorders so that they produce offspring that are ready to drink milk. Apparently. Okay, that's based on no factual information, but it sounds suspiciously true given my understanding of how the way the world works. And I think also it's just like all these podcasts. See, I could say like if you listen to me on this podcast regularly enough, you start to feel that you're tuning into me, that somehow you trust me. We have somehow a relationship, although I'm just here talking to myself. And then if I say to you, wow, I really love Vitamin Well, and this is, Vitamin Well upgrade. That's probably written backwards. Let me just try some of that. Oh my God, I've just upgraded. I'm like Harry 3.1 right now. Yeah. And this actually, what I like about Vitamin Well is that they brought this thing to a ridiculous level. Like here you've got a can of Vitamin Well Refresh. Wow, it feels like I just had a shower. That's so good. I'm so refreshed right now. And all they're doing is they're taking some water, throwing in some milk and some flavoring, slapping a name on a word. And that's how stupid we are as people. Upgrade, defense, reload, refresh. These things are killing it in Switzerland. Also, this bottle shit. I mean, who the fuck came up? Apparently, this is a new law, at least in Switzerland and Europe, that you can't, the lid of a bottle has to be permanently attached, and it's like tear it off, of course. And I love that because, what better way to say, hey, we're not actually going to solve the problem, which is this plastic bottle that we're using for a drink in the first place, but let's do this thing that basically accomplishes nothing, so that when people try to drink, it stabs them in the face, and we remind them, hey, you're part of this as well, because you chose to buy this shitty drink that we made that's going to ruin the planet because it's made of a fucking plastic bottle. But now you're part of the problem because the lid that stabs you in the face is there to remind you, you are guilty too. You're in on this. It's not just us. I mean, and someone's probably saying, yeah, but Harry, like a porpoise might have or a worm might crawl into that bottle and get stuck. And then what? That's not, but the lid's going to stay open. What? Or the lid might get swallowed by a dolphin. I think more likely the dolphin was happy because dolphins like to fuck things, and the whole dolphin would like to fuck that. But now we got this on. Dolphin can't even fuck a bottle. What is the world coming to? God damn it! I'll tell you, the problem is to me is there's shit on everything today, and the problem is I'm not saying that I know better. I mean, I probably do. I mean, I definitely do. That's a Stuart Leeism. The reason for that is that I studied physics, and it teaches a fundamental art of questioning and ability to analyze the system, whatever the system is. I remember back in my first year at university, I have to go and see my academic tutor, is a guy called David Dunstan, Professor Dunstan, actually very smart guy. I Googled him once. Turns out his last appearance in the press is in the Telegraph, where he got in trouble for wandering around nude. He was a bit of a nudist as well. Anyway, I remember this time we had to see him, and we had a physics problem that we needed his help with. And it was like, I don't know, it's like some formula, whatever. And then he said, okay, what does this mean? And he kept asking these like fundamental questions about what the raw, until he finally asked us with it. See, carrots will kill you. See, I almost choked on a carrot. Not even carrots are safe. But I'm moving dangerously. All right, enough of me eating carrot. Then he says to us, like, hey, in this, he says this contemptuous. He's like, okay, what is length? And we're like, well, length is the distance between 2 points. He's like, no. What is it? What is it fundamentally? And me and this other kid, we're just like, fuck, how stupid are we? We were really feeling humiliated. And he knew what he was doing. He was setting us up to feel this humiliation so that we would open our minds to what was coming. He just said, length is a comparison. Length is a comparison to an arbitrary thing that somebody made up. And it used to be this cube of silver somewhere in Paris, I think it was silver, that was, someone said, this is a meter. A meter, 1 meter is made of this much silver, and this is now the metric system. Later on, they switched that to some fraction of the speed of light. And that's basically what length is. It's a thing that people made up to compare stuff so that we can have some kind of agreement on things. Now, when you think about things at that level of like, what the fuck is going on here? The other thing, a great thing about physics it teaches you is to play with variables. So, if you have a system and you pick some variable, like number of people on the planet, and you go, what would happen if we had no one on the planet? Or what would happen if we had 10 trillion people on the planet? Or an infinite number of people on the planet? We'd just be like, the Earth would be surrounded by this meaty blob of humans all crushed together. And, and that kind of way of thinking about things became like a fundamental way that I've always thought about stuff, to just trying to understand systems. And of course, I'm as fallible as every other human being. You show me an ad, you put like subconscious subliminal messages in my brain, like you should come to In Your Face comedy. And eventually it starts to work on you. But still, fundamentally, it gives you this ability to step back and ask a question of what the fuck is going on. And the basic thing was say, okay, take a variable, reduce it to 0, whack it up to infinity, look at what happens to the rest of the system when you do that. And that's basically what physicists have done. Physics is kind of next to philosophy. And by the way, fuck philosophy. Philosophy is a labyrinth for the brain that has produced all kinds of human suffering and bullshit under the name of somehow this has made things better. But I would argue that if you read Taoism, the Tao Te Ching, it says it pretty simply. You don't need to invent bullshit to tell people how to live their lives. They already know how to live their lives. Maybe you should stop fucking with them. Anyway, I'm in a ranty mood today because I got my energy back. The last 2 days I've been flat. Now I'm back, motherfuckers. Yeah, what else are we going to talk about? I'm going to burn out some time here, burn out myself. Tonight we're doing In Your Face Comedy Brew at Robbins again. And then this weekend we got Filippo Sprefico. He's coming to stay with me, actually. He's a super cool guy. I'm really looking forward to that. I might actually learn something about comedy from him. And he's going to be doing his 4 shows Sunday night, Monday night at the Hotel Rivington in Zurich. And yeah, we got comedy. What else can we say? Something else. What other things that have annoyed me recently? I mean, the thing is, it's just actually the problem I have with all this athletic green stuff is the underlying thing about human beings that we're trying to get ahead. It's like with some supplement, it will make me smarter, or with this or that. It's like, well, just just actually to live fairly healthily, you don't actually need a great deal to know a great deal. Just eat some vegetables, eat some protein, eat a bit of carbohydrates. Try not to fucking have too much of that sugar. Unfortunately, my mum got me addicted to sugar at a young age, so that might be part of why I had all the joint pains, because sugar dries you out and does that kind of stuff. And I'm probably surfing the edge of diabetes too, because I do love my sugar. I start the day with coffee, and sugar powers me up in a way that I don't actually need. And if I took 2 weeks off, I'd probably recover it. But sugar, massively addictive. But I don't know. It's actually, it comes from this, we're just in this weird, like someone sold us the idea, we got to be better than everyone else. We got to perform better. I remember once actually, all these, microdosing things. I was talking to this guy and he's like, yeah, I've been microdosing acid. It's really helped me be more creative and this kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You know where coffee came from. If you do a bit of research, the coffee break came from some factory in America. I think it was a clothing factory, where the women there who were working there proved that they were actually more productive if they could have coffee breaks during the day, to have a rest, to recover, to get some caffeine. It would make them work harder. And that's how the idea of a coffee break came in. And then the companies, of course, leave coffee machines around because caffeine stimulates productivity. And by the time you get home, you're completely fried because you've just given all your life energy to a company that paid you some hours for that. And okay, and that's all right. That's coffee is accepted social norm. We're all addicted to it. But now we got microdosing, people taking micro amounts of acid to be more creative. And unfortunately, the problem is that once you up the bar on things, everyone else has to do it as well. The same thing's going to be happening with ChatGPT. I mean, everyone's pretending, we have a company ChatGPT policy. We cannot, we don't want anyone putting our documents on ChatGPT. Unfortunately, you're screwed because the ChatGPT app, you can just take pictures of your screen and then there's no stopping it. So anyway, what I think is going to happen with ChatGPT, I love it, by the way, but once everyone's using ChatGPT, which is pretty much happening already, then, we reach a point where companies just like, wow, our employees are now insanely productive. Yeah. And then no one can go back. No one can go back to the day where you would fill a page full of typos and this kind of stuff. Or your bad English, you just like throw it through ChatGPT. The bar is being lifted constantly. And, in the end, that's probably a good thing. People go, no, the jobs are going to be lost. Actually, I don't think it will. I think it just means that there are a lot of companies out there doing stuff badly based on the number of people have. They'll start to doing things better. If I look at Switzerland, there are very few companies that have good marketing people here that understand the marketing platforms and this kind of stuff. They just do it old school style. It's designed for like print marketing and this kind of stuff. And then companies throw their money down the toilet and it brings them very little except an ad that people hate while walking around the city. I'm just all over the place with that. I'm just a stream of consciousness, it seems. Anyway, and what am I talking about? I can't even remember. What I'm trying to do is develop ADHD, because ADHD is going to make me that much cooler on stage. I can just hit the flow, let my thoughts flow. Because I used to be someone that would like think a long time before speaking. And it's actually taken me time to train myself to just spew bullshit like I'm doing at the moment. God, it's time for me to upgrade again. God damn, Harry 3.2 getting better. Look at this. Harry 3.2, he's faster, he's stronger, he's out of words. He ran his mouth too fast. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think the fundamental problem is that we allow ourselves to be stupid the whole time. And if we put more of an onus on ourselves to be less stupid, we just go, I just went shopping to make myself look better so more people look at me. And then I took my athletic greens to make myself healthy. And I took Neutronic to make my... stop it. Get a life. Think basic things. Ask some basic questions. What do you hear on this planet? You've only got 80 years at best. And if you eat athletic greens and drink Neutronic, you probably only got 40. You're drinking caffeine, your breath stinks, you look like me. I mean, I'm 50, I got a right to look like this. You at 20, you don't. It's because you're up all night going, let me smoke some weed so I don't have to think these thoughts and make me a bit depressed. This is the problem. We are the problem, and we're outsourcing responsibility to products and therapists, and sort your shit out. I don't know what the hell I'm doing there. I'm just an angry man today. All right. That'll do for today. I worked my mouth. It's mouth exercise. And now I'm going to do a comedy show, I think, in about half an hour or so, and rant at some people there. Thank you very much. I'll hopefully see you at Filippo Sprefico Love and Regret and the shows this weekend. And if you are still listening, come to one of those shows. He's such a funny comedian. Highly recommended. All right. Fucks out. Till next time.